And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar right here on BearcatJournal.com. Go see our good friends at Hail Mary's. They're located in Cheviot. They're on Harrison Avenue, so they're right inside the Dora District. You can go from bar to bar with your drinks. No need for that, though. Just hang out at Hail Mary's. They've got 27 TVs, a 9-screen video wall. They have the DirecTV sports package, so you can watch all the games, including all the Bearcat games. And Cincinnati sports will always be on that 9-screen video wall. Brand new walk-in cooler, brand new draft lines, and of course, ice-cold Cincy Light on tap in 32.8-degree frosted glasses. If you can't make it to homecoming on Saturday, head to Hail Mary's, bucket specials throughout the game. All right, Aaron, let's get this show on the road as we talk about your Cincinnati Bearcats being one of only 2 teams remaining that are undefeated in Big 12 play, along with the BYU Cougars. We will get to that result here shortly, but a little bit of a topsy-turvy day in the Big 12 Conference. So we'll start it off with the surprise of the day, really. Arizona State 26, Texas Tech 22. Sam Leavitt with the big day. The Arizona State defense, who I have been talking about heavily on this podcast all year, with a big day and a late drive, a late score, gives Arizona State the victory and makes things a hell of a lot more interesting in this Big 12 race as we get into the final half of the season.
Well, Hammond came back to earth a little bit in this one. 167 on 22 of 37. Not a great day at the office. 2 touchdowns and a pick. He also had 15 carries for 47 yards and a touchdown, but Sam Leavitt was masterful. 28 of 47, 319 and a touchdown. Raleek Brown gets that late score you were talking about, 19 carries, 69 yards and a touchdown. They did enough to win, and their coach continues to be awful at post-game interviews. I guess some things never change. He just in the middle of being interviewed, just walked away and just joined the students.
Weird. He's weird. It's a weird dude. He is a weird dude. But hey, they got the win in a game that they had to have.
His post game was a little weird too. He's like, "We're never gonna not practice as hard as we did this week." Well, why did it take you until this week to practice that hard? I just don't understand. What are we doing? But yeah, Texas Tech sorely missed Baron Morton in this one.
Yeah, I mean, that's easy to say. That Arizona State defense, I don't know how much difference Baron Morton makes. Like, they just are relentless getting after the quarterback, getting you off your spot, moving you around, making things difficult. Yeah, I mean, Texas Tech is better with Baron Morton for sure, but that Arizona State defense is a tough nut to crack. And really, they did nothing outside of a 5-minute stretch. I mean,
Arizona State.
No, Texas Tech's offense.
Texas Tech.
They had 7 points into the fourth quarter or into the third quarter. No, they had 7 points into the fourth quarter. They scored 2 touchdowns, bang, bang, to take the lead. But for the most part, and Arizona State's defense is we knew Texas Tech's defense was really good, and they give them credit, even though they lost. Arizona State kept getting into scoring position, and Texas Tech kept stopping them and forcing field goals to keep that close, or that thing could have been ugly fairly early. But they managed to hold them to 3 and do enough to keep themselves hanging around. But I still don't love, and I know Leavitt threw for 300. He had a really good day, but I still don't love Arizona State's offense. But their defense is going to put them in position to win games. And if he's going to play like that, they're going to be they're 3-1, and they're playing as well as they've played all season at this point.
Yeah, they had 400 yards of offense in this one. By comparison to Texas Tech's 275, 276. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they did what it took to win. They found a way, and they still have a weirdo as a coach.
They do. And this, I think we all felt like this was an opportunity for Texas Tech to go undefeated in this conference, and everybody else was playing for one spot in the conference championship game. The way that they had played up until this week. Now, Texas Tech's got a loss. A lot of things come back into play. Now, two teams that aren't Texas Tech getting into the conference championship is very much on the table. And if Arizona State wins out, they've got the tiebreaker over Texas Tech now. So it opens up the top of the conference a lot.
Things getting interesting.
Speaking of top of the conference, Holy War, BYU, Utah. It was exactly what you'd expect. It was a battle. BYU comes out on top 24-21. And it feels a lot. We did this last year with BYU. I don't know how they keep doing this. I don't know how they keep doing this. I don't know how they keep doing this. Yet they keep doing it. And they're 7-0. They're 4-0 in the conference. And they're right there in that top spot.
Yeah, they protected the ball. BYU protected the ball well. Bear Bachmeier, 13 of 22, 166 and a touchdown. Not a ton there through the air. Rushing, Bear Bachmeier also had 11 carries for 64 yards and a touchdown there. LJ Martin had 26 carries for 122. Altogether, they had 202 yards of rushing offense. Utah, on the other hand, Devin Dampier, 20 of 36 for 244, 2 touchdowns and a pick. They had 37 carries for 226, 10 of those carries from Daniel Bray for 121 and a touchdown. Dampier added 15 on the ground for 64. But at the end of the day, I mean, like I said, you protect the ball. Utah had 2 turnovers in this one, including that pick and then a fumble by Mana Carvalho. It's what you expect in this type of a game. And when it's a rivalry like this, you have to protect the ball. And 2 turnovers was a big difference in this one.
Did you see the Utah or the BYU fan thing earlier this week? Like, there was a guy that was basically going around on Twitter, I think, and was like threatening Utah fans. If you show up at this game, if I see red, I'm gonna kill you. Like I'm gonna mess you up.
We talked about this because you can't do that. You can't do that in Utah right now.
They hunted him down, found his IP or whatever, and arrested him. These two teams legitimately hate each other. Like, this is UC Xavier crosstown shootout level of we hate the other guy.
Well, and I believe they do say F around and find out.
Yeah,
he found out.
He did. I know in the short term, after Texas Tech lost, it was like, hey, if Utah wins, then Cincinnati's the only undefeated team left to top the conference. I still think this was the better result.
Sure. I mean, you get
Utah
BYU
now has
at home.
And Utah has 2 losses. So Utah finding their way, even if they beat Cincinnati in Salt Lake City, Utah finding their way to the top of the conference now becomes much less likely with their second loss. I don't know. I think it was a good result for the Bearcats, since we're kind of doing that here with these top 2 games. But Utah now 2-2 in the league, and that makes things a little bit more, maybe a lot more difficult for them to play their way to Dallas. BYU, we'll see. They've got a tough stretch coming up. Iowa State, Texas Tech, TCU, Cincinnati are their next 4.
That's a gauntlet.
And 3 on the road, by the way, Aaron. At Iowa State, at Texas Tech, TCU at home, at Cincinnati. So we'll see where they come out on the other side of that. Keeping it moving. A little bit of a surprise here. I thought Arizona was going to be able to get Houston, but Give Willie Fritz and the Cougs credit. They're 6-1. They're 3-1 in the Big 12. They win the game 31-28. They hold off a late Arizona comeback. And Arizona now 4-3, 1-3 in the Big 12. I think Arizona might be the most, if it's not Cincinnati. Arizona look like maybe the most improved team in the league. They do not have the record to show for it. And Houston, kudos to Willie Fritz. Guy can coach.
This one was, again, just a close game. Noah Fafita goes 24 of 26. He only missed 2 passes in this one for 269 and 2 touchdowns, but not enough there. 31 carries for 112 as a team, 2 touchdowns on the ground. But Houston, Connor Wegman, 15 of 23 for 164 and 3 touchdowns. He adds 14 carries for 98 and a touchdown. Dean Connors rushing the ball for Houston, 20 carries, 100 yards. They're figuring out, again, this is another team that's figuring out ways to win. And all of a sudden, these teams that came in with Cincinnati are making a lot of noise here in their 3rd season in the Big 12.
Except for one of them. We'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that. They had a good day. I'll give them that. We'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, I'm impressed with Houston. I'm impressed that they are making things as fun as they are. But to be fair, they've beaten Colorado, Oklahoma State, and Arizona. Their loss is to Texas Tech, and they lost 35-11. So they get Arizona State next, but then West Virginia and UCF, and they end with TCU and Baylor. If they keep finding ways to win close games, they're probably going to be in a couple more. So they could have a really good season down there. But, yeah. TCU, 42-36 over Baylor. TCU gets up big with a 21-point third quarter to go up 21-10. Baylor tries to battle back. TCU holds them at bay. That's 2 teams that are, we talked about this, a lot of teams that are mirror images of each other coming into this one. What we expected, 2 teams that put a bunch of points on the board, and TCU at home is able to get the win.
4 turnovers for Baylor. That's a lot of turnovers to overcome. Only 1 for TCU on a Josh Hoover fumble. Josh Hoover had a pretty good day, 22 of 38 for 231 and 3 touchdowns. Kavorian Barnes carries it 25 for 106 and 2 touchdowns. Baylor, on the other hand, Sawyer Robertson, he struggled 25 of 52 for 318. Oof. I know I say 318 is good, but to go 52 passes and only complete 25 of them, that's
under 50%.
And then the 3 picks to his 2 touchdowns, not great.
It's not winning football. It's not complimentary football, Aaron.
I will say I'm a little impressed that Baylor kept it as close as they did with 4 turnovers. Still fairly efficient. But yeah, 4 turnovers that's terribly hard to overcome.
You give up 6 touchdowns like Baylor's defense did, it's going to be a hard day to win. And they didn't do it. So both of those teams, 2-2 in the conference, both of those teams a couple weeks ago, people were talking about could be a sleeper, could, sneak their way into the top of the league because of how good their offense was. But both of those teams sitting at 2-2 and a very uphill struggle to get to the top of the league now. And finally, UCF 45, West Virginia 13. Taven Jackson back at quarterback for UCF. I think we're at a point. West Virginia might be worse than Oklahoma State now.
I think it's funny that they didn't even do a write-up on ESPN after this game. There is no recap that you can read about this game.
That's great. They didn't even AI it. AI was like, nah, I'm good.
But in this one, Taven Jackson, as you mentioned, 23 of 34 for 277, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Jaden Nixon, 7 carries, 116 and 2 touchdowns. Miles Montgomery, our old friend, 14 carries for 88. look, UCF, one of these two teams had to win at the end of the day.
It was going to be UCF.
They hung 45 on hapless West Virginia. I don't know. Does West Virginia and Oklahoma State play this year? No. Oh, man, that would have been a game.
It would have been something. Honestly, I'm after watching Oklahoma State and seeing the fight that they had in them.
I think Oklahoma State would trounce West Virginia.
I do too. Now. Like I've got to do my Big 12 ballot tonight. I'm putting West Virginia 16th and Oklahoma State 15th.
I don't how there's plenty of evidence that points to that.
I mean, everybody's going to look at it and say West Virginia beat Pitt. That's why they belong ahead of Oklahoma State. I get that to an extent, but that was a lifetime ago for West Virginia. They had a different quarterback that hadn't entered the transfer portal yet. Like that, they still had a little bit of life, and not anymore. Not anymore. Real quick on the standings, Aaron. BYU and Cincinnati alone at the top at 4-0. Arizona State, Texas Tech, and Houston at 3-1. Iowa State, TCU, Baylor, Kansas State, Utah, and Kansas at 2-2. Good luck figuring out that mess.
Right.
Arizona, UCF, Colorado at 1-3. West Virginia, Oklahoma State at 0-4. We already have BYU, Cincinnati, Texas Tech, Houston that are bowl eligible in week 8.
You also have BYU ranked 11th in the country, Texas Tech at 14th. So you got 2 in the top 15 there. Cincinnati only moves up to 21st, and Arizona State is now at 24th.
Buckle up. The rest of October and November are going to get wild in this league. There's 2 bad teams. There's a couple teams, like, I don't think UCF and Colorado are that good. I like Arizona in terms of a team that can do a little, like, can jump up and get somebody more than those 2. But, I mean, from BYU to Kansas, there's going to be a lot of chaos left in this league. There's a lot of chaos left in this league to go.
Plenty of time left.
All right, it's going to wrap it up. Everybody have a good night. We will be back with the BBP tomorrow night. That is the Nightcap, brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!